Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Songwriting Simplified solo show. We do a few of these every now and then, and usually it's because there is some issue. Like thumping the microphone, for example. In this particular case, Jonny is out of town, so he is not anywhere near his studio. So I said, hey, I'll do the show because there are a couple of things that I wanted us to talk about. So I figured, and particularly as he has been having some kind of difficult voice periods the last few shows, I thought, give the guy a rest, give the guy a break. So that's what we're doing. We're going to give Jonny Guy a bit of a rest. Let me just get myself a little bit more comfortable in my chair. And hopefully we'll be all good. Let's see who's here. All my mods are present and correct. And we have to thank, actually, Drummer Mike for putting out all the ads for tonight's show. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate your efforts doing that. I simply didn't have time. I had other things going on in the house that I needed to attend to. And I was just like, okay, I could not bother putting the ads out and just hope that people turn up. But then I thought, people will be expecting it to be over at Jonny's. So I figured I'd ask Mike, and I was talking to Mike anyway, and he said he would do it. So thank you very much for doing that and making it possible for the 17 or so people that are here right now to be in the show. So that's very, very cool. John Lake was first in the door. Well done, John. Quickly followed by Ken and Mike Johnson. Dwayne is here. Alps Media LLC, sponsor for Home Studio Trainer, is here. And as I say, Just Bob is here. Lily, the piano player, is here. Who else do we have? Thomas over in the Philippines. Tim Talks Audio. My good friend Tim is here. Good to see you, buddy. And he is one of my faithful, trusted moderators as well. And who else do we have? Let's see. Alan over in Glasgow, who is also known as Photography, Light and Magic, is here. Let's see. Who else do we have? I think that's... Oh, DJ Vivaldi, of course. And Budman672 is here as well. So that's awesome. So we've got a reasonable collection of reprobates and crazy people, which is what we want for Songwriting Simplified. So I'm glad that you're all here. Mike actually has a question to start the show. He says that he's just signed up for Personosphere. Can I put stems in the collaboration folder and have Ken be able to download them? Yes, you can. That is what the workspaces are for. So all you need to do is create a workspace. And once you've created your workspace, then you need to send an invitation to Ken via his email address. And then he should, if he is a member of Personosphere already, it's even easier for him. He just receives your the notification, and he just accepts your notification to join your workspace, and instantly you are there. And you can even upload those stems in advance and then invite him so that the content is there ready for him to go. If he's not a member, then what he needs to do is create... Well, he's already a Studio One user, so he can just receive the invitation via his My Personas account. However, if you want to invite people to your workspace who are not... Hang on, I need to turn off my notifications. Who are not Studio One folks, and they don't have Personas gear, and therefore they don't have My Personas accounts, you can still invite them to your workspace. And it's actually pretty easy. You send the invitation to their email as per normal, and what will happen is the system will ask them to create a My Personas account, which they do, and once they've done that, then they have access to your workspace. They just accept the invitation in their My Personas account, and they are as involved in your workspace as anybody else that you invite to be involved in your workspace. They don't have to be a Personosphere member. So that's pretty cool. But you know, there are a plethora of advantages of being a member of Personosphere. So, yeah, so there you go. So that's a great question, and I hope that that's a helpful answer for you. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Well, oi, oi, oi. Good start, no. You guys are having hilarious banter about who should and who shouldn't be moderated, which is very, very entertaining. All right, so tonight we are going to take a bit more of a detailed dive into the signature tracks, because for composers, songwriters, they are really, really useful, and especially with the new workflow in Studio One 5.1 for, you know, creating different key signature changes and time signature changes. And it should all interact with the core track now much better than before. So yeah, so that should be pretty cool for us to look at. And then of course I'm going to take your questions as well. We got 23 people here, which is actually not bad for Songwriting Simplified on my own over here on my channel. We normally get more over on Jonny's channel because he has many, many more subscribers than I do. All right, so let's go and jump over into Studio One. I just need to pull up this screen first. All right, there we go. So we have jumped into Studio One, and we kind of need to ignore this track to a degree, maybe, but we can maybe work with this. So I'm actually going to get rid of this track because we don't need it. And this was just me actually testing an issue that a customer raised with me today, with the note effects. And he was reporting that the note effects were kind of coming in too early and they're not continuing. And I'm not finding that happening at all. So let's play this. Not a whole lot to it, but it's good fun to play with the note effects actually. If I go and show you what we've got going on here, I'm using the Plagiator preset, which I had no idea what it would do until I actually tried it. So this is without it on. Hang on. And that is clipping like a man-child. Let's turn that down a bit. Okay, what's going on here? It's because I'm turning down the wrong damn channel, that's why. Alright, so that's what that was all about. And then you put this in. Go back to the beginning. And it's just redonkulously funky. And that's just with this little preset and the pitch variations. We weren't really going to look at note effects, but since we're here, this is very, very cool for composing little funky keyboard riffs. If, you know, you have very limited keyboard skills and you're kind of like one of those, you know, maybe you use like a couple of fingers and that's about it. You're a two-finger kind of keyboard player. The note effects, particularly the repeater and the quarter, are definitely your friends for creating really interesting keyboard parts. So yeah, so this is very, very cool. You can have loads and loads and loads of fun with that. So signature track, that's kind of what we're here for. So let's actually get the signature track in. Now the signature track, you would think, because it just says 4/4, it doesn't really do anything else. But if I go and change the key here, what key was this in? This is in kind of G, sort of. I say sort of because it's kind of like G Mixolydian, which is what I was kind of playing about with. So we have the key of G in the signature track now, having changed it over here. Now, let's say, for instance, that we decide that when we go to the final bar of this loop, that we want to change key. So we just right-click on the signature track, and now we choose key signature. And let's say we're going to go to, I don't know, E flat for a bar. And then we're going to go back to the key of G. So now we're in the key of E flat. So as I say, chord track kind of does interact with this. It's not 100% there yet, but it's actually not too bad. And it's only going to get better and better as the algorithm that is used for the chord track gets better and better. Technology is nearly there, to be honest. So that's how you insert a different key signature. And different time signatures are just as much fun as well. So let's say at bar 5 here, we want to just have like a random bar of 7/8. I like to do this in my songs sometimes, just to kind of break up the monotony. So let's change the numerator to 7. And the denominator we will change to 8. So we'll now have a time signature of 7/8. And can you see how the timeline ruler has now changed? So now you have 7/8 notes in each bar. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then of course you can change it back. So at bar 9, let's just say we want to go back to 4/4. Go back to 4/4, but we also want to go back to the key of G again. So there we go. And it really is as easy as that. It's so much easier than it was before with Studio One and inserting key signatures and all of that kind of stuff. Now the cool thing is here, if you watch down the bottom here, not only does the timing value here change, but also the key value changes down the bottom as well. So let's play that. And now we're in 7/8. And now it's going to change to 4/4 and back to G. Just like that. You see how that changed? And so the signature track is really, really cool for those kind of things. And as I say, with chord track, it integrates really well as well. And I'm going to show that in much more detail on another show, because there's a lot to unpack with it and how to make it work really, really well. But I wanted to mention that in passing, that the chord track integrates really well with the signature track. So, and that's, of course, only ever going to get better and better. So yeah, so this was really just a quick little tip on how to use this signature track and make it work for you. So much easier than it was before, for sure. And as I say, note effects are really, really helpful for creating really interesting and creative keyboard parts, or you can fake guitar parts doing that as well. So if you would like to get one of the guitars from Presence XT, bring that in, you could create a funky little pseudo strumming pattern thing, and it would work pretty well. All right, so let's yes, that 7/8 part is really, really good. Yeah, you see, this is where I went a little bit John Cage, if you know what that is, and if you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, showing my John Cage influences coming through pretty strongly there. DJ Vivaldi asks, why the signature track and chord track are on the same line? Well, because they are both integral signatures to a piece of music. And it just makes it a lot easier rather than having, particularly, let's just say you have the secondary ruler, the marker track, the arranger track, and the tempo track. If you have all of these open, do you see how much space that all now takes? And it pushes your actual track headers for your tracks down much lower in your view. Now, granted, you could change this. You could change this view if you wanted and just squish them all up. But what if you don't want that? If you want to be able to see at the very least your input routing for each of your channels, each of your tracks, I should say. And let's say you've got like 40 or 50 tracks. Having all of these open, and if you had 2 signature tracks as well, then these would be even lower. And you would quickly find that half the screen from top to bottom, half the screen will be taken up with these signature tracks. And rulers and markers and all of that. So it just makes sense to put them both on the same track, and have them kind of working symbiotically to a degree. And as I say, it's dead easy to change from one to another. So if you want a time signature, you just right-click and choose time signature. If you want a key signature, you just right-click and choose key signature. It's not really a biggie, to be honest. Chord track is on top of the time signature. Yeah, it is. It's because that was the last thing that I opened. So, and I can close all of these up pretty easily. But yeah, had I opened the chord track first, there's my chord track. Or had I opened the signature track, then, oh, I see, yeah, the chord track does open up first. Yeah, I don't know why that is. Yeah, don't know why that is. Oh well. Interesting that it does that. But there we go. Well spotted though, Michael. For sure. I don't think it's necessarily a bug. It's just maybe just the way it is. But handy, all the same. I don't think it matters too terribly much. But there you go. I hope that was helpful. All right, let's go up and see what other questions we have here. If you record it in Studio One and upload the stem to Sphere, why couldn't you? Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely can just record something and publish it straight to Persona Sphere if you want to. So, like you say, if you have like a pre-recorded voice message or something like that, you could record that into Studio One. But at the moment, you cannot, like you can with Facebook Messenger. With Facebook Messenger, there is a facility in there to be able to record a voice message, and then the voice message just gets uploaded straight into Messenger. We don't have that in Persona Sphere. It may come at some future point. Who knows? But yeah, if you want to leave a voice message for somebody rather than typing things out, just record it into Studio One and then export it and publish it to Persona Sphere and then choose the workspace. And that really is probably the only way that you could do that. But yeah, it would be pretty fun to be able to do that. I guess we'll have to see what unfolds. Why the signature track and chord track are on the same line? Yeah, they're not actually on the same line. If I go back to the song here, they're actually on 2 separate tracks. Can you see the chord track is at the top here and the signature track is underneath it? So they're kind of 2 distinct and separate tracks. So I can actually close that one and just have just the chord track, or I can close the chord track and just have the signature track. So they're completely independent of each other, but they do work together. So yeah, oh, that helps answer that question. Alan says, can you use third-party MIDI effects? That's a good question. I don't actually know because I don't really use them. So I have no idea whether you can. I mean, you can certainly bring in MIDI files into Studio One. That's easy enough to do. And if you may remember back, oh gosh, a little while ago, Google had a day for celebrating Bach's birthday, and one of the things they did was they allowed you to, in the Google Doodle app, they allowed you to kind of like enter some notes some musical notation or just some notes by tapping the letters on your computer keyboard, and create like a little melody there. And then what it would do is it would use an algorithm that kind of is loosely based on Bach's kind of chorale harmony rules, and spit out a little piece of Bach chorale. For it was like only about 15 seconds, I think, was the longest you could do. And I did one of those a while back, and you download it as a MIDI file, and then because I downloaded it as a MIDI file, I could bring that straight into Studio One, and then I could assign different instruments to the different tracks. It actually sounded pretty good. So I had 4 different instruments. I think the first time I did it with a string quartet, and thought, hey, that actually sounds pretty good. And then I did a little brass quartet as well. So yeah, you can do those kind of things. You can bring in MIDI files of any kind, I think, by and largely. But actual MIDI effects, I don't know whether that's possible or not. But that is a good question. Why not have the signature on a single line instead of events? Yeah, it is. It is a single line. The signature track is its own track, like the tempo track is its own track, or the chord track is its own track. But yeah, you don't have a separate time signature track and then a key signature track like you do. I think Pro Tools has that, where you have, a separate time signature track and a separate key signature track, and I think Logic does it as well. I guess we just decided to combine the two together and save a little bit of real estate. But yeah, it's on its own line. It's on its own track, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, what else do we have here? Martin the Martian is here. Hey, Martin, how you doing? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Let's see what else we have. I'm looking through your questions to see what else you guys are coming up with. Anyone else got any questions about the new Studio One 5.1 features? Or even, in fact, features that you think you would like to see added to future updates for Studio One 5? If you've got any ideas, then yeah, we can talk about those. Now, obviously, I'm going to say, hey, go submit a feature request. But certainly, if you've got some ideas, then definitely get them into the chat. That would be cool. Let me just have a swig of tea. Yes, Michael Johnson, I actually agree with you that having the signature track on its own track rather than on different events is much more clear and crisp and clean. I agree with you, actually, rather than having a different view on each event. Martin says, American healthcare has got me wanting to stow away on a Freya to cow. Yeah, I totally understand that, my friend. Vital Caron is here. Hello, my friend. How are you? Hope you're doing well, mate. He says, show us or sample. Show us sample that you can do with Mojito. You know what? Mojito's not something I use a heck of a lot, actually, but I do have it. Called up here. And I was actually trying to check out a problem that somebody was reporting. I really don't use this a lot. And that's on the Atom SQ that I was doing that. Yeah, I suppose it could be quite a lot of fun. I'm not really a synth guy, to be honest, not terribly much. But I will admit that this thing has got some interesting sounds. Yeah, it's a weird little synth thing. And I suppose this one kind of. Oh wow, this has got pitch bend built into the touchpad. Huh, interesting. Let's see. Vital says, can you show us how to play orchestra brass using Omnipresence XT? Yeah, I can do that, and the reason why I can do that is because if you purchase it, the Presonus Symphony Orchestra is an add-on for Presence XT, and so you have some gorgeous, for the price point that they're at, you have some gorgeous samples. I forgot to turn my phone off. There we go, it's completely turned off. So yeah, you've got some fantastic samples here. So let's go down to Pso Classical Orchestra. Let's go and grab some brass. Let's do a French horn section. I like French horns. Aren't they nice? Nice bit of French hornage there. I like French horns. Oh yeah. Good point. Yeah, let's do that. Hang on. Let me get that guy out of the way. Let me open up that track. And then let's stop that. And there it is. Stopping the retrospective recording. And let's play it. Let's mute those guys. There you go, retrospective recording. It is an unbelievably cool little feature. Love it. Yes. What was it Vital said about articulations? Yes, you can have different articulations for different sections of this. So I could double click this guy to open up the edit window. And here's all my controller things here. So I can go down to key switches. And I don't want to do that. I really did not want to do that. I have to remember how to do this. I've not used key switches in a while. I think I need to. Do I need to draw something in here? Let's see. Yes, I could go legato at that point. Up to the end. So, like this last section here. Now, it's a little bit subtle there, but if I go a little bit further back here, and let's say, let's put in some flutter tonguing leading up into it. So let's go back. For some reason, it started with the flutter tongue. So let's go and all the way through that, which has sustain. There we go. There we go, perfect. And let's turn off the pencil because that's going to annoy me. Cool. All right. Oh, did I accidentally delete my key switch? Damn, I did. Sustain. There we go. Perfect. I think I can even edit that back. Yes, I can. And so on. So we know how that, we kind of know how that works now. But that's great. So I can have like, if I don't want to change them in real time, although you can totally change the key switches in real time. If you know where they are and you've memorized where they are at the bottom of the keyboard, you can do that. I didn't do that obviously because I was just doodling and decided to add in these key switches after the fact, which is great that you can do that. As to Vital's question, does this option, the retrospective recording, is it only with Studio One 5.1? That is correct. It is only Studio One 5.1 that this came with. So 5.1 and above, you will have this feature. If you're still on 5.0, you will not see this feature at all. And you'll not see any of the new signature track or anything like that either. So I hope that helps. Let me go back over here. Can I add mod wheel controller volume in the mod section to swell those horns? I probably can. I think, do I have it mapped that way? Let's see. Let's draw in something. Let's see what that does. It is very, very slowly moving up. I probably did that too long. Hang on. Let's equalize that out and let's go. Let's start at the top here and just go. Yeah, let's do something like that. And there it's gone. It's gone just to the middle there because I kind of stopped doing it. But yeah, so yeah, you can use the mod wheel to the mod wheel for some of the instruments in the PreSonus Orchestra. You can't see what I've done. The mod wheel is mapped just to like volume crescendo. So you know, like. You know, stuff like that. You can do that by hand if you really wanted to. Let's see, what else do we have here? Just Bob says, is the latest version going to go on sale sometime soon? Maybe Cyber Monday? I have no idea. I do not work in sales. I have no idea what their strategies are. They are an awesome bunch of guys over in sales. I don't know what the strategy is. Vital says, is there an upgrade for 5.1? At the moment, it's just 5.1. This is it. This is the latest thing. It is as it is right now. This is the latest version of Studio One. So there's nothing other than that right now. But who knows when the next maintenance update will come out or whatever. So I'm not going to really kind of answer that much beyond that, mostly because I would get fired if I did. Let's see. Tim says, generally there are nice sales that happen around Thanksgiving time. Yep. That tends to be true. Yep. And Black Friday as well. Don't forget Black Friday. That tends to be another big one. Alan says, I could not afford the full software, so I opted for membership of PreSonus. Yeah, I think quite a few people did that. And it's actually a really good way of getting Studio One. I'll be really honest, because you don't just get, you know, yes, you get the latest Studio One Professional. You also get all of the updates as well. So anything between 5.0 and 6.0, you get all of those. Everybody gets those, whether they are a member of PreSonus or whether they have just purchased the product outright. You get all of those. Here's where it changes. If you remember PreSonus, when we launch version 6.0, you will have that in your account on the day of launch. And every month we are adding new add-ons. Like I think there was one added just recently, especially in time for Halloween. So you can go check that one out and download and install that. And that should be a lot of fun for you guys to play with. I don't have it yet. I haven't had any time. I've not had a spare moment to think about such things. I'm a little bit far behind. I do have the Speaker Freaker. I don't have Deep Flight 1. I didn't get that. I kind of just haven't got around to it yet. But it is there, waiting for me in my account, and I can just go and grab it and download it. It's dead easy. Let's see. And yes, Tim is correct. You get all of the add-ons. All of the add-ons for Studio One that PreSonus makes, you get those. You also get Notion 6. And all the updates and stuff for Notion 6, and when Notion 7 is released, you will get that too. You also get all of the expansion packs for Notion as well. So you get not only the full orchestra, but you also get all of the other extra instruments, including obscure ones like double contrabassoon or contrabass sax. Weird stuff like that. Wagner tuba, I think you already get. But, yeah, there are some obscure ones there as well that you can get your hands on if you're in PreSonus. It's very, very good fun. Let's see. Mike said it took me like 30 minutes to get everything. Yeah. If you've got a really good internet connection, it will download in a super flash. Absolutely. Mine's not kind of... My internet is fast. I mean, it's like 20 megs a second upload and 80 down. So downloading is actually really fast. Uploading is actually pretty darn fast as well. But we do have new lines that have just been put in on our street, which go live, I think, at Christmas. I think that's the current plan. And they are gigabit lines. So, yeah, a gigabyte per second. That's going to be ludicrous compared to what I've been used to. So, yeah, we may well buy into those. We'll have to see, because we may well, in a year's time, be moving. So we need to think about that. Is it worth us kind of buying into the gigabit line only to then have to break the contract halfway through it? So, yeah, there's that to think about. There's loads of stuff. Yeah, there absolutely is a megaton of stuff that you get as a member of Personosphere, and it's just being added to all the time. Plus, you get all the live streams with Joe and Gregor and all of the extra video content that they're doing as well. So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Vital says, my question was, is Studio One 5.1 a free update for Studio One 5? Yes, it is. Pretty much here's how it works for Studio One, and this is how it's always been since version 1. When there is a 0.0 version, which is a brand new version of Studio One, so like Studio One 5.0 was brand new, you have to pay for those. Unless, of course, you're a member of Personosphere, in which case you're paying either monthly or annually. But if you're just purchasing outright, you pay for all the 0.0 releases. So 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, those are, and 6.0, and 7, and 8, and 9, and 10.0, they are all paid. You have to pay for those. But everything in between that, so 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, and so on and so forth, however many updates there are between 5 and 6, and I have no idea how many there are going to be, those are free. So, like between 3.0, we went from, was it 3.0 to 3.5.6? And then for 4, we went from 4.0 to 4.6.2. And all of those in between 4 and 5 were all free. And the same between 3.0 and 4.0. They were all free. It's only ever the 0.0 releases that are paid for. Okay? You have to pay for those. And everything else is totally free. And, you know, I think we, let me think. I think for 4.5, we added an extra 60 brand new features and updates. So we're not just talking, you know, fixing things that are broken. I'm talking adding stuff, adding features. We did that for 4.5, about 70 or so. And then for 4.6, we added another 50, I think it was. So you get all of those for free. But when you get to the next 0.0 release, which is kind of the major release, you have to pay for those. So hope that answers your question, Vital, my friend. Let's see. Moving again. Well, yeah, we may be moving again the end of next year, because we're only contracted to this place for 3 years. But we'll see. We'll see kind of what happens. The kids are kind of outgrowing the space as it is already. So let's see. What else is going on? What else is going on here? You guys are talking hard drives, which is cool. Yeah. SSD drives, yeah, always recommend those. Super fast and no moving parts, absolutely. Let's see. Ken says, if you have Studio One 5, you download it right from the updates or from your account. I don't know where a link would be. That is a good question. So, when a new maintenance update is released, like let's say there's going to be a 5.1.1, there might be, for example, or 5.2 or whatever. What happens is there are two ways you can get those into your account. The first way is you just go to your account and you go to products and software and you select Studio One 5 and you just download the installer again. And when you do that, it will download the new installer for the new update. It won't download a previous installer. It'll download the new one. Okay? So when you run that and you relaunch Studio One, it will launch into the new version. Okay? Or the new update or whatever it is. Okay? That is method number one. Method number two is to go into the start page. I go over here, go to the start page, and you click this guy here where it says check for updates. And when you do that, if there is an update available, a dialog box will come up telling you that there's a maintenance, there is an update available, and you can click a green button up here somewhere that says update now, and it will automatically do it for you, pulling it from your account straight into Studio One, and then Studio One will relaunch. So you can do it that way as well. So there's a couple of ways to skin this particular cat. Not that I'm recommending feline violence. So I hope that helps answer that question. Let's see. That was a great question, though, I gotta say. You guys are talking about cooking. Please don't talk about cooking. You're just going to make me hungry, and then I'm going to have to eat like a ludicrously late time at night, which is not a great idea. John Lake says, I'm back. Did I miss anything? Yeah, you did. I did some demonstrations of French horns, and I showed retrospective recording, and I showed the new signature tracks. So you can either stop right here and rewind and just play catch up, or you can wait till the end of the show and then kind of watch it from the start again if you want, or just pick your spot where you want to start from. That is up to you, my friend. Mike Johnson says the chat went off. Did it? I'm looking at the chat and it looks fine to me. So maybe you did it at your end. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are talking about compressing potatoes. You mean mashing potatoes? Yeah, maybe we would mash potatoes with an 1176 compressor, maybe, with all buttons pushed in. Tim says, should I be moderating the cook-off? Yes, you should. You and Mike, between you, because I know Mike has cooked in a previous life, previous job that he did. Lily says she sees the chat, and Martin says it's working fine as well, and it's working fine for me as well. So you must have accidentally closed the chat, which you can easily do occasionally. Went off means it went into a different... Oh, okay, gotcha. It went off in a different direction, yes. We have gone off into a food tangent, unfortunately, and that is not at all my area of expertise. My area of expertise is audio. That's what I do. I don't do food. I don't even cook in our kitchen, except when we're doing pizza. Pizza I can cook. What What else can I cook? Pasta dishes. I have maybe 4 or 5 different pasta dishes that I can do. And that's about it, really. I like a nice Verimue compressor for potatoes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like the MJUC. That would be good for potatoes. Just Bob says, I've never cooked, but I've done my fair share of cooking. That is very well put. No, my wife, who is a midwife, that's her job, but she also has a catering and a chef qualification as well. So she's qualified in the kitchen more than I would ever dream to be. I tend to kill people when I cook, so yeah, best avoid my food. If any of you ever end up in Edinburgh, Scotland, we will not be eating at my house unless my wife is cooking. You will live if my wife cooks. You'll enjoy the food and you will live. However, if I cook, make sure you have a will and all of your affairs of your estate are in order, would be my recommendation. Vital says, I have checked and I have 5.1, but don't have option for the key switch like you were shown previously. If you have 5.1, you do. If you have 5.0, you do. You just need to open it, is what you need to do. Let me go back to that song. Here we are. Let me go back over to here. So you might not have this selected down here. It might be completely closed for you like that. And if it is, you just press here where it says Add Automation Lane. And the one that comes up by default is Velocity. And if you're still not seeing the key switches one, you can add another lane. And you can change that to key switches. And it's as easy as that. Now, here's the thing. Some sounds have key switches and some sounds don't. If you're using a sound that does not have any key switches, you will not see the key switch option here. Most likely. And that is possibly what you are seeing. If you are to load up PreSonus Symphony Orchestra and pretty much most of the classic orchestra and the strings as well, the big string section, they all have key switches. So you will see the key switches lane here, and you can draw these in. So it does exist in 5.1, and it exists in 5.1 for everybody on Studio One 5.1, and I think the key switches are available in Professional, but you know what? We can go and check. We can absolutely do that. Let me go and have a look at the comparison page. If I just pull that up. If I go over here, let's open up the comparison page. Easy enough to do. Let's go over here. Let's go over to the PreSonus website and we'll go here. Here we go. Here we go. So we're over in the PreSonus website on the Studio One page, and we can go to compare versions here and we can see what's what. So if you're ever kind of not sure what you get to see in which version, see here it says articulations and key switch editing is available in Prime, Artist, and Professional. It has 3 dots. Yay! So even if you have Studio One Prime, you have access to articulations and key switch editing. You only get the chord track and the harmonic editing in Studio One Professional. You also only get the score view, if we go down and look for that. Oh, incidentally, you get retrospective recording in all versions. You only get score view with printing in Studio One Professional. And you can open all the editors side by side in all versions as well. So there you go. If ever you're in doubt as to what you should or should not have, this is the place to go. sons.com/product/studio-1/compare-versions. Okay, grab this URL, copy paste it, bookmark it, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you know what you should have for Studio One. All right. So I hope that that helps. Let's see. All right, Ken says, when writing a song, how can we make it very rare and well done at the same time? Great question. Very well done. You could have a great flourish at the end of your song. Or you could have a sneaky little backdoor 251. You know what one of those is? Ken, I'm fairly confident that you should know what a backdoor 251 is. So I will show you that, a backdoor 251. So a normal 251 would be F minor, B flat 7, E flat. That's a 251. That's a 251 in E flat. So a backdoor would be this, which is essentially 451. A flat, B flat, E flat. And of course you can tritonal substitute each one of those as well, just to kind of make it a little bit more ambiguous. So, you know, you could do, let me see. So I could go. So instead of going 2, 5, 1, I'm going flat 6, flat 2. No, other way. Yeah, flat 2, 1. Basically, that works just as well. So you can try those for doing something extra spicy with your chord changes. Diego asks, can Studio One export in FLAC? Yes, it can. Let's see, what else do we have? Got around. Okay, quite a few people are starting to bail now, which is cool. So we'll finish up here. Vital says, I use the plugin Persona PSO Brass, no key modulation seeing. They are definitely there, mate. You know, I don't know how else I can show you. If you have Studio One 5.1, you absolutely do have these features because they are available in the instrument itself. Okay? This section here is your key switch section. Because it's got the red line over it. This is your playing section. All right. And then these are your key switches here. And you hover your mouse over each one and it tells you which one does what. And if you can select these, then they will be available to you in this key switch lane. You just have to click the plus button here to add the automation lane, and then you select key switches, and then you can draw them in with the pencil tool up here. Okay? So they absolutely do exist, and you absolutely do have them if you're on Studio One 5.1. And you have them whether you're on Prime, Artist, or Professional. So it does exist. You may well just be not clicking the right thing at the bottom here. And it may well be that actually you've got this button pressed in here, this little squiggly line thing here that says show hide automation lanes. It might well be that, where are they? I don't see them. Click this little button here. And then you can use the plus or minus sign to add or remove an automation lane. Okay, so it does work. You're probably just not clicking on the right thing, and it's going to be really hard for me to kind of troubleshoot that with you because I cannot see what you are seeing. So yeah, that's a little bit more tricky. But take it from me, it does exist, and these do work. you just need to, you're going to have to play with it and experiment with it for a bit. All right, so we will leave it there, folks, because we are 5 minutes over time. And I hope that helped, especially checking out the retrospective recording, because that is extremely cool. And the cool thing is, I mean, I was doing this in stop mode. You know, there was no track playing. But if you're just improvising over a track, and you like what you did, but you didn't record it, it's there in retrospective recording. And you can just hit this retrospective recording button, turn it white, and the event of what you did will appear. So it's very, very cool. Yeah, Vital, you're just going to have to play with it for a while, mate, because they are definitely there, okay? And I've shown you on the comparison page what is available to whether you're on Prime, Artist, or Professional, and we looked there, and key switch editing is available to all. So you're just going to have to play with it. And you're going to have to make sure that you are definitely in this section here, and you have these buttons available to you. Now, if you have this kind of squished down or something, then you're going to have to pull this section up. Or, you know, even better, you know, you can stretch it right up to the top if you want. Or you could just detach it. But you definitely have the key switches available to you. They do exist. But like I said, some sounds don't have them. Okay, some sounds don't have key switches, in which case you will not be able to draw any in, or none will appear, or the key switches option here will not be available to you. It will not be there. So key switches only work for sounds that actually have them available. All right? Yeah, you don't necessarily need to do that. You can draw these in after the fact, but you need to actually create some MIDI events first before any of these will work. So create some MIDI events, play something in, and then draw these in afterwards. Or you can use, as you say, your left hand on the bottom end of the instrument. The bottom end of your keyboard where your key switch area is, and you can press those and you can do it in real time. You can do it that way. But you do not have to do that. Ken asks, do all the PSO instruments have key switches? Some of them, most of them do. However, you will find that there are some in the library. If we just call this up for a second. That are already they are already a specific articulation. So this one here, the PSO single articulation. You go into this folder here, you find there's a whole bunch of extra instruments that, like the contra bassoon, for example. Each one of these has its own articulation already. So these ones are not going to they are not going to be key switch editable, because they are just a sample of a specific articulation. Okay? So things like these don't have the key switch things going on here, okay? Yeah, so these single articulation ones, they are specifically different, which is why it's called single articulation. However, the classic sections here, these all have key switches. Classic strings, these all have key switches. Percussion and the choir, they all have key switches as well as the brass. And then you've got the contemporary strings as well. These sound epic, by the way. And then again, you've got specific sections with their own specific key switches, which is why it's got KS written next to it at the end. So I hope that answers that question. Typing too slow. Yeah, I have that problem. Trust me, I have that problem all the time. Especially when I have like 50 tickets to get through in a day. you know, I have to move fast. All right, so there we go. That is the end of the show, guys. I hope you found it useful and helpful, and that you got a lot out of this. I certainly enjoyed doing it. It was great fun, and we will end it there. And I will see you all on Sunday for Sunday Night Live. And if you are in the UK on Friday, there is a special Studio One meetup over on Zoom. There are ads out already on pretty much most of the social media platforms about that as well. I think emails are going to go out as well. And it'll be, if you're in the UK, it will be 8 p.m. UK time. So that's GMT because our clocks have gone back. So we're now back in the land of Greenwich Mean Time. So, and myself and my colleague Lee Boylan, who is one of our product specialists, and I, between us, the two of us, will be hosting those. And we are doing them every month on the last Friday of every month, with the exception of December, which is Christmas. So Christmas Day falls on the last Friday. So we won't be doing it then, obviously. But other than that, that's when we'll be doing it. So if you're in the UK, please do come and join us. Grab a ticket. There are some tickets available. The tickets are absolutely free. But yeah, go and sign up on the Eventbrite and grab yourself a ticket. So until then, folks, I will bid you all a very good night. Good night.